to the EQ Video Tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsetter. As always, thank you for joining us for another terrific edition of this week's EQ Video Tip. Before we get started, let's review the goals of EQ Video Tip. What's on tap for today? We've got a great article from James Clear, and it talks about one of the most valuable skills in life, starting before you feel ready. Let's face it, we're always starting some new adventure. Maybe it's starting to play on a sports team. Maybe it's starting a new job. Maybe it's getting a promotion at your work. Maybe it's starting a date with someone you have never dated before. Maybe it's becoming a parent for the first time. Whatever it is, we most times don't feel ready for it. We're thinking we can do this, but we're not really sure. Are we ready? And one of the most valuable skills that James talks about is starting before you're ready. He's going to go through a 3-2-1 process for us to make sure we feel ready. Tip number 1. Just because you don't see improvements right away doesn't mean that they're not happening. Just because they're not visible doesn't mean they're not occurring. You're not going to see the number of changes that you make every day each time you step up to the scale. But if you keep working and finish a chapter one step at a time, you're going to actually get there and change whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. It's important to note though, as you go through this, early wins, of course they come easy, but the lasting wins require a lifestyle. They require change. They require you to focus more and to get through to achieve your goal. So remember, early wins come easy. Lasting wins require a lifestyle, require change on your part. Tip number 2, live the Pareto principle. What is that? Well, relationships, the ones that make you feel great, prioritize them. Spend more time with those people. Priorities, things that are really important, have a positive impact on your life, of course, prioritize them as well. Those are important things to do. Learning, what are the few information resources that you have that you learn the most from? Focus on those as well. Prioritize them. And then finally, stress. What's stressing you out? What's making and causing the most stress and friction in the day? And of course, try to eliminate them as well. Using those things will help you get ready for that next adventure. Tip number 3, and this comes from Floretta Schreiber, a journalist who writes a lot of articles on EQ. She says, you're never ready for what you have to do. You just do it. That makes you ready. Think about that when you have to tackle the next test. You might not be ready. You might think you know what your boss does every day, and when you get his or her job, you think you're ready, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm not ready for this. But it's okay. You're able to do it. Jump into the job, head first, make it happen. That's the part of being ready. Last tip, and it's not even a tip, it's a question from James. What are the current habits that you're doing right now that are hindering your future progress? Think about it. If you're trying to become more in shape, maybe it's you're eating too much junk food. If you're trying to learn how to play the piano, maybe it's you're not setting enough practice time. What habits right now are hindering you from your progress? Maybe you play too many video games. Maybe it's you stay up late watching or binge watching different things on Netflix. Whatever it is, figure out those habits that are hindering you from your future progress. That's a wrap for this week's EQ Video Tip. Hopefully these tips helped you in terms of growing and making you ready for your next adventure.
So that concludes our EQ Video Tip for today. Try incorporating some of these tips into your daily routine. But remember, use what works best for you and personalize it for yourself. Thank you always to our great research team for providing us with some great tips today. As always on EQ Video Tip, we want to end with gratitude. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Here are some resources that you can use if you want more information on EQ going forward. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.